Okay then, let me start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, we as the government side of the house believe that love is better when it's lying on the side of repetition as opposed to passion, right? So, first of all, what is happening in the status quo, right? What's happening in the status quo is that there are many forms of love, and we believe that the cause is not a matter of black and white. Rather, it's a spectrum, of course. But we can narrow the spectrum down to 2 sides for the sake of easier debating. That is based on repetition or passion. But based on the reasons that I will bring to the table, we believe that it is much more preferable to side with love that is based on repetition. So first of all, I would like to explain about the possible actors that we are going to be talking about here. I think it's, for the sake of the better debate, I think it's better to talk about it for the broader forms of love, like it could be anything like family, friends, platonic, basically any form of love that can happen between two or more human. So yeah, so before that, before I move on to my substantives, I would like to talk about 2 things, 3 things in this debate. So first of all, I would like to explain to you the reason why repetition is actually the much better basis of love. Second, I would like to analyze the actors that is involved and characterize them even further. And third, I would like to compare the alternatives that both sides will bring to you today. So, first of all, I would like to say that about repetition, the concept is that the concept that we're trying to bring here is that repetition legitimizes, right? So we're going to talk about this based on how humans act and humans think, just the human brain, basically. So human brain works in a way where it attaches itself to an idea when it's constantly repeated, and that's where the phrase came from. Repetition legitimizes. Every time you hear, like for example, when you hear a song for the first time on the radio, okay, you may not like it the first time, but after a few days, you start listening to it on repeat, your brain is suddenly attached to that song. That's just how human brain works. So yeah, that's the proof for that. So we know that the human brain works where it likes the idea of repetition. And so we believe that with love, it's even better when it's based on the act of repetition, because it proves legitimacy of that love itself, right? So when we're talking about legitimacy, we're going to be talking about the base of what that love's come from. So why do we say that this is more legitimate at the end of the day? We believe that with repetition, when you see your partner giving back to you what you give to them, it's going to cement the idea that, okay, this is the love that I want. This is the love that I really looked for from a person, and therefore that proves the idea of legitimacy. And in what way? Well, we believe that when a person can keep repeating the actions that they do to another person, based on their own volition, or maybe compulsion. When they do those things out of love, and that they are able to do it over and over again with repetition, we believe that the other person involved is way much more convinced that this love is actually legitimate. And to prove to the other person that their love is actually equal, and rather it goes hand in hand, we believe that it's going to be far better for that relationship if that other person actually repeat the action that they, or at least give back what they were able to get from that relationship, right? So in the worst case, that we do have one-sided relationship where only one person is passionate, it's very easy to identify the relationship being not legitimate. And so therefore we provide to you an alternative where a relationship is very easy to spot which one is legitimate and which one is not. And therefore it's way healthier for both parties involved to actually commit or get out of the relationship as soon as you see as soon as you see the signs, right? And in and the best case, even if both are passionate, that passion can even on their best case, right? If both parties are actually passionate, we're talking about the passionate as the base of love, that passion can reduce or be lost at some point. And the only way to show the legitimacy of their love is by the act of repetition. And passion is very tied towards human emotions and human feelings. And that's why we believe that it's not a very good basis to base your love on, because it's very fluctuative, and it's not very it's very fluctuative, and it's not something concrete to base your love from. So now I'm going to analyze the factors involved, right? So I would like to characterize this from people's uncertainty. When romantic love, when we're talking about romantic love, people might be uncertain whether the relationship is legitimate or not, right? So therefore, we believe that so when people are uncertain where their relationship is legitimate or not, it could lead to many things, right? And there, like for example, losing faith towards your significant others, or maybe it turns into a much more toxic relationship where it's basically not even healthy for both parties anymore, right? So the backlash of this, just based on the uncertainty of this the legitimacy of the relationship, the backlash of this could be heartbreak, right? And that's just the easier case. The very minute case where a person goes through a heartbreak. Okay, boo-hoo, I'm gonna be sad for a few weeks. The worst case is that this leads to a really toxic relationship that they can't even get out of, and it's very much worse under their side of the house, because under our side of the house, at least we provide to you the option to actually opt out of the relationship before it's actually too late. So in comparison of the two alternatives, under our world, there will be less heartbreak, and not knowing whether an individual reciprocates our feelings, while on the other hand, we invest so much time and feelings for that individual, it is tiring and painful. And so therefore, I think it is a good reason that repetition is the better base. Thank you.
I will start my debate on 3, 2, 1. Panels, we think that all kinds of love is legitimate to begin with, ladies and gentlemen. What kinds of love, or even what kinds of concept of love that we want in this debate, ladies and gentlemen. We think that open government didn't give us what kinds of repetition that will be going looks like in the set, ladies and gentlemen, or even what in the status quo that will really showing us what does the things that really currently how does the repetitions are going to be held, ladies and gentlemen. We think that how does the repetitions look like is first there is a standard of people that you have to be fulfilling, ladies and gentlemen, because of the moment you have to conform to other people, meaning that there is an order they have that already given to you, meaning that you also have to force yourself in terms of fulfilling your responsibility towards them, ladies and gentlemen, even if you didn't like this job or even the activity, but the moment you are already born in this community and so on and so forth, you have to fulfilling that even if you didn't love this thing. And we think that it's very bad for the people itself in terms of, for example, sustaining their job or even getting partner with the community and so on and so forth, ladies and gentlemen. We think that in our side, what is already happened, for example, the moment we are going to uphold the passions looks like is first we think that the desire in terms of for example integrate with the job and so on and so forth is really coming with our interest, ladies and gentlemen. It is something that we are really want and we become our motivated, ladies and gentlemen. And second, we think the pleasure that coming from ourselves is that didn't coming from other people's standard or even what is people wanting to you, ladies and gentlemen. There is no question that will become to us, ladies and gentlemen. With that strong feeling that that difficult to rationalize is something, for example, I still debating, but I don't know, even if I didn't gain any kind of victory in the competition, but I still learn and learn. It is that's why we are still living in love, we are still debating, but we cannot rationalize what is the things that we really want us to still integrate with the community itself, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, we think that what happened in the opening government, the process in terms of how they are and gentlemen. For example, the standard that already held by other people in terms of how you are going to giving your feeling, for example, with your husband or even so on so forth, ladies and gentlemen. The moment your husband, for example, already telling you have to, for example, follow those rules and so on so forth and so on so forth, you think that it's very rational for you to fulfilling your job as his wife, because of it is your obligation and so on so forth, ladies and gentlemen. In our side, the moment we think that we think that it is really coming from our heart and our mind, or even coming from our pleasure and so on so forth, the things that will not happen, for example, the process that are really bad in opening government will not happen, ladies and gentlemen. That I will explain more in my argument. We think that both sides cannot exist in these two concepts, ladies and gentlemen. We have to choose which one is really rational, or even giving more happiness inside of ourselves as the individual itself, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, why is it good for the individual itself, ladies and gentlemen? We think that, for example, in terms of the performance or even the activity, or even if, for example, the moment you are going to partnering with other people, there is no standard that will exist in our set. Therefore, in terms of, for example, integrating with other people, in terms of the moment we are, for example, the moment we are going to partnering with our friends and so on so forth, there is no kinds of reputation that will be held in our set, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, we think that happiness that we are really likely to make sure that we also can sustain in terms of finding the love, or even the things that we are really wanted in our set will be accessed, ladies and gentlemen. For example, the moment you having a partner with a man that have a different religion with you, it's very bad to begin with. It is rational, for example, you to broke up with them, ladies and gentlemen. But the moment it also giving happiness for you, even if it is really hard to rationalize and so on, it is something that justice for you to really uphold the concept of the passion itself, ladies and gentlemen, because you think that it is only the things that will bring happiness for you and so on so forth, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, we think that the opening government cannot say that the moment they are going, there will be harm. The moment we are cannot going to, the moment that we cannot rationalize things. For example, there will be harm that will be exist to the person and so on so forth, ladies and gentlemen. Well, but we think that in our side that those things will not be less likely to be happen, ladies and gentlemen, because of those things. For example, harms and so forth is also exist in our side because of the things that we are doing in our side. The moment you are going to uphold the passion in terms of our pleasure and so on so forth is also existing in terms of finding our enjoyment, or even finding our comfortable places to make sure that we also cannot get hurt and so on so forth, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, we think that opening government cannot telling more about the things we approach to approach.
3, 2, 1. Here's what all makes us, right? I think the way that we have framed this debate is already quite clear, right? Because this debate is less about the love concept being more authentic or whatnot, but which concept of love will be comparatively better, right? Because authenticity can also still happen in our side, right? And those kind of benefits that O has mentioned earlier doesn't engage at all to the reason why you have given to you, right? The sustainability and the legitimacy of the relationship. Thus, if the authenticity still can also happen outside, when you genuinely authentically love someone, then there will be a feeling of wanting to give back and repeat, right? Because you will want to give back the best to someone that has given the best for you, right? Thus, whether you are as a romantic partner, then giving back to your partner, or as a child giving back to your parents for raising you for very longly for a long time, right? Thus, even if you love someone so much that you don't expect anything back, this giving back legitimizes the fact that you love the love that you've outpoured to someone is actually equally resonant to that person, right? So this is what is missing in the opposition case, which is the legitimacy, right? You don't say that we're to make a lot of emotionless in that. No. Well, the only thing that why we want this kind of reciprocality is to make sure that love is legitimate instead of abstract, which is happening status quo, which is causing lots of heartbreak, right? So before that, several points of responses, right? First, I think the fact that they say that you say that we conform to other people with interpretation and most likely to succumb to like toxic behavior? I think like no, because like notice with the frame, there's always an option to opt out, right? You don't have to like confirm the toxic relationship, but in our side, the difference is the concept of love is legitimized by repetition, which makes it more of certain abstract things, right? And the ability to opt out still exists. You don't have to force yourself into a relationship you don't like. And secondly, I think like the fact that this kind of like benefits that they say like it is good for you if you use happiness, I think those all things can still like be achieved, right? Because like the fact is that no one is like limiting you on what is like what you should be finding yourself, but like the fact that you can still all the benefits that they have been mentioned before and like why it is passionate is still achieved in our world, right? So I think like I don't have to necessarily like say that those things are not true, because like those things on our frames like still exist, right? Now let's move on to my extension. First of all, I think like notice that by showing that your love is like legitimate, it can also be an indicator, right, whether that relationship is like sustainable or not. Because notice that the person that the person that my parents has like advised, like when they're like in a relationship, they're like so uncertain, like maybe they have like they're sure of like whether this kind of relationship is like going on like as well as like maybe there's like a feeling of like insecurity. But when you do actually have a form of legitimacy in this form of repetition instead of like the passion, because like the passion can be like blurred, right? Can be like it can go up and down, and like, it can also like even disappear, right? This can show you that there is like a clear benchmark. Even if like maybe you can say that maybe what is only faking it and whatnot. First, I think like there's like still a feeling of authenticity when giving back, so you can definitely like fall out to those, right? Because we don't expect you to stay in a toxic relationship at all, right? But secondly, in the fact that you even if like, you are really passionate, if you do really love a passionate for a certain individual, then it's very more likely, right, that you will be wanting to giving them back what they people have given you. So I think like the question of like love in that relationship is like already like more better solved, right? Because no one can answer whether the relationship will be genuine or not. Like this is a problem that it is hard. Like even like if you want to say that you can just show your passion, like same thing, right? You can like maybe like passion can be like fabricated, but it can also be detected, right? Whether it's like genuine or not. And same thing goes with this repetition. Like you can, as a human being that has like lived to like social contact and maybe live as an individual or like that, you can feel like whether the repetition is genuine or not.
Yeah,
Alright.
Can you give the tangible comparison between like what is the legitimate love and also under outside of the house?
Alright, I'll move. That's my comparison right now. I think like comparatively in your slide, when the legitimate love you have, as I explained before, the legitimate love that comes from your side can still be like when you legitimately love someone, you also want to give them back, right? You want to give back what those people have given back to you, right? And even like even if like love is like maybe you can say that this is unconditional, shouldn't it be like one-sided? Like that is like the concept of it, right? But the fact is like most people when they do experience this feeling, they do want to like give back, right? Because they have this, not because like sort of a sense of like maybe you can say that there's also a sense of responsibility, but when you legitimately love someone, this is like pushing you to also like give it back, right? So I think like comparatively two things, right? First, I think like there won't be what the opposition will never answer. I think like first the problem with like fake love, right? Because like there won't be like any more fake love in there in outside, because like even though like people are like having like want to approach someone, they're more less likely to have like heartbreak, because they don't know whether this individual have like when they reciprocate this feeling, whether this feeling will be authentic or not. Right? While in our side, I think like we have like the investment of like the time and the feelings that you gave when those things doesn't reciprocate, and you're not unsure because it's not dramatic whether he will like will he like love back to like his feelings, like to the passion. It's like unclear, right? But unless it's the reciprocal back, you already know whether he or she will like give back, right? And then I think it's there, right? You don't have to waste any more like effort and like time, which is like tiring and painful, right? And secondly, comparatively, I think the fact that this will make like the relationships like less uncertain, right? Because like you make insecurity less unlikely, and the fact that you wanna stay in like a relationship that doesn't give you doesn't like reciprocate back, because like the fact that when people feel secure, right, about their relationship, like they're gonna feel more in they're gonna feel more in like cherishing the relationship, right? So they want like to celebrate, like maybe your partner is like giving you like a surprise birthday, surprise birthday, then you more likely want to give it back, right? Because like that's what the concept of like the giving the reconcilability that makes it this type of like love, the genuine emotions more reinforced, right? We feel like in the passion, those kind of things is intangible and that's what it's why we're better purpose.
Okay, starting my speech in the count of 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to divide my speech into 2 parts. First, rebuttals towards the government bench, and then secondly, extensions coming from my previous speaker, and substantive argument. Okay, first, responses toward the government bench. The government bench believes that if we add more repetition, it will lead to the true loves and so on and so forth, ladies and gentlemen. But we think that this is not exclusive. This is not going to be happen in their side of the house. Why is that so, ladies and gentlemen? Because they don't have patience within the process of giving those kind of loves, ladies and gentlemen. Within giving those kind of repetition, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that without the essence, with the sense of the patient itself, well, less likely in their side of the house, before they succeed to get the true love itself, they will give up anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that so, ladies and gentlemen? Because they don't have the sense of the patient itself. They don't have the sense to empower themselves to keep true, even the way it's totally hard to be true by those kind of person, ladies and gentlemen. So most likely in their side of the house, we believe that the love in their side of the house will less likely achievable, ladies and gentlemen. For example, when you have like a partner or your girlfriend, for example, that once makes you bored or uncomfortable, ladies and gentlemen, you will leave them, ladies and gentlemen, because you don't have like patience, you don't have like spirit to keep struggling, ladies and gentlemen. And also, we believe that in this case, ladies and gentlemen, not everyone in the status quo itself have the same mentality, ladies and gentlemen. You have to do those kind of things because you are coerced, ladies and gentlemen, and then it will force someone to keep following the toxic process, ladies and gentlemen. For example, like you have to be forced to love someone, even if and then you think that, oh, it is my obligation because this kind of girl is already created. It is already my wife, for example, and so on. So for ladies and gentlemen, so most likely it will not happen in their side of the house, even if they already explain about the alternative, such as that, even if in their side of the house they have like alternative, but we think that the alternative in their side of the house is it will less likely to be beneficial, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that so, ladies and gentlemen? Because in their side of the house, once they get like a bad condition within their relationship and so on and so forth, there is no incentive in their side of the house to create betterment, to create evaluation, because they think that, my girlfriend my girlfriend is already abusive and so on and so forth. Therefore, I have to leave it and so on and so forth. So therefore, there's no like less evaluation and betterment in their side of the house. What is the implication of this kind of things, ladies and gentlemen? It is totally bad, ladies and gentlemen, because in their side of the house there is no longevity of relation, ladies and gentlemen. Most likely in their side of the house, the relation is only maybe like 2 months, 3 months, and so on and so forth, because of there is no a sense of the passion itself, ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, they say that patience is getting lost, is something that changeable and so on and so forth. This is untrue, ladies and gentlemen, because we believe that once you get like a patient, you are feeling like more motivated to do this kind of things, ladies and gentlemen. What is comparative, ladies and gentlemen? The comparative is this, ladies and gentlemen. In their side of the house, the love in their side of the house will less lasting, because they are too relying on the rationality and so on and so forth, ladies and gentlemen, which creating like less lasting relation relation in their side of the house without doing the evaluation thing, ladies and gentlemen, because we think that the ideal relation in the status quo itself is the relation where you can accept between one another and then create evaluation if you like have a problems and so on and so forth. Comparatively, in their side of the house, there will be less incentive to create betterment because once they got problem, they just directly using the alternative that they have, ladies and gentlemen. That's why all of argument coming from the government bench should be full anyway, ladies and gentlemen. So jumping to my extension, ladies and gentlemen. In this case, okay, later. In this case, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to explain to you how powerful the patient is that is dismissive in the government bench, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that the power of the patient itself, the moment when you through the really hard journey of love, for example, this kind of patient that will always empower you, ladies and gentlemen, even if you are feeling like the situation that is really bad and so on and so forth, because it's already become your patient and so on and so forth. It will make you like survive, ladies and gentlemen. Why it is totally important, ladies and gentlemen? Because the moment when we survive in the relation that probably toxic, we can create like evaluation. We can create like the things that we already have been through with our partner, for example, ladies and gentlemen. So in our side of the house, we are going to maintain the relation that is lasting, ladies and gentlemen. The relation that full of check and balances between our partner, ladies and gentlemen. Not the relation that once you get like a bad feeling or a bad relation, you just like directly opt out with using alternative that the government propose, ladies and gentlemen. And also we believe that the concept of love in our side of the house will most likely better comparatively in government bench. Why is that so, ladies and gentlemen? Because the people in our world, ladies and gentlemen, will through the relation that is totally excited for them, even if there is still like a problem, ladies and gentlemen. And then lastly, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that the team that win this debate is the team that can prove the longevity of the love relation itself, and also the team that can create like evaluation or ideal worlds of the love itself. Really proud to oppose.